Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning, khushamdeed, ji ayanu, goeiemorgen, pakhair ragele.
Ni hao, Jule Shumme, Washmale, Ohio Gonzaimes, Guten Morgen, Hola, Bonjour, Privyet, Kaifahal, Hale Shama Chatore, Alan Wasalan Marhaba, Buna, Mucho, Gracias, and a very amazing good morning to everybody who's tuned into PTV World and are watching World this morning alongside the very amazing, the very superb, the very fantastic Shahzad Khan and Shiza Hashmi. Hello Shiza, how are you today?
I am absolutely great and I knew where this was going, so how are you?
I'm absolutely perfect, and you know, you took a U-turn too as well because you said Pakhair Ragle, and I thought that, you know, after Khuya Morkhe, it'll be my turn to speak, but it's all right, you know, this
but
happens.
But you know, it sort of gets to the time you get used to it so much, you know what the next word is, and then you keep speaking.
Exactly, and you know, now it has become so obvious to me that whenever I look at you, I know whether you had your cup of coffee in the morning or not. So today, once again, you had 2 cups of coffee, right?
2 cans, yes.
2 cans, okay. I don't know whether the cold coffee has the same effect or not, but...
For me, it does. So.
For you, it does, okay. So other than that, what do you have for your breakfast? Because breakfast, I think, holds a very important position in my routine, but what about yours?
Okay, so usually when I have like work and everything, I only have 2 dates and a can of coffee.
Okay.
Otherwise, when I'm at home and I have a day off and everything, I have like super Pakistani nashta proper, you know, halwa, puris and everything. So yes, it works for me. What about you?
Well, for me...
well, you mentioned just yesterday that ever since you're born, you did not miss one day of your mom's breakfast,
Yeah, that's true. And but at the same time, I think our mother actually made sure that, you know, none of the kid actually leaves the house other than, you know, if you have the breakfast, that's fine. If you do not, you're not even going for work. So, you know, this is one rule we have. But, you know, when we were kids, this is a very interesting story. You know, we were all very crazy about eating eggs. And yeah, and I think egg is one of those very household things which you'll probably, whenever you go to any relative's house, you open the fridge, the first thing you see on the tray is the eggs. And God forbid, you know, unfortunately, if there's no egg in the morning, I can probably start yelling too as well because I want an egg in the morning. And I think that, you know, egg has so much protein in it for all those people who actually go to the gym and other nutritional facts that it actually helps people in their development as well.
And you know what the best part is? So whenever I go to my village, as you've mentioned that even if a person does not have anything in the fridge, there's eggs, right? Darjan ande or adha darjan ande, whatever. So everyone does have eggs. So the best part about that is for the people who are not probably healthy or who cannot afford a very, you know, lavish breakfast, this is something which will fulfill the nutritionist needs, protein, phosphorus, whatnot. So this is something very healthy.
Exactly, but there's one more thing which I wanted to ask because you mentioned about your village. Where is your village?
Oh, it's near Sargodha somewhere.
It's near Sargodha somewhere. So for somebody, ladies and gentlemen, who was born in Netherlands, has got a village near Sargodha. I think that's a very different
My mom
story
dad are
to
like
share.
2 total extremes.
Well, that's great. But other than that, you know, the best part is that I actually have even been fighting over eggs too as well. For example, I'll finish mine first because, you know, mother used to say that nobody's going to have more than 1 egg a day. And that was because of the fact that we used to actually start bleeding from our noses too as well.
Right.
I don't know, they say that taseer badi garam hai. I don't know
That's
why taseer is garam whenever it's like an expensive food product. For example, fish, taseer badi garam.
Or peanuts or dry fruit at all.
Yeah. So, you know, what we used to do, you know, us siblings, we used to actually grab a bite from somebody else's egg and, you know, people will start running with their plates. So I'm not sharing.
Right.
So this is how I've always been with eggs. Meetha anda, cheese omelette, and there's so many different types of eggs too as well.
Meetha anda, we'll get to that later.
And we have got a meetha paratha too, yeah.
Yeah, I know meetha paratha, but not meetha anda. But why are we talking about ande early in the morning?
Yeah, but before we indulge into that, other than that, I think that for all those people who are out there, rather than eating the broiler chicken, which is injected with, I don't know, so many steroids or whatnot, but I think it is better to actually have a desi murgi or a desi chicken in the morning, or probably not in the morning. I don't know, people do not feel comfortable with gravy early in the morning, but probably dopair mein or by night, if you can have like desi murgi, I think it will give you quite a lot of health benefits.
So all of my family members are like, you know, chicken addicts. But there was this one day my mom was like, I'm not buying a broiler chicken anymore. So ever since we have to eat desi chicken, but the only problem that I have with that is it's so tiny as compared to that. But it's healthy as well. I mean, in terms of, I mean, it's not very fat.
You know, it becomes tiny when you put it in the cooker, you know, so that's the way how we cook it. But other than that, the nutritional facts are definitely not even closer to
exactly.
the worst case scenario where we have been eating broiler chicken as well. And the only reason why we are talking about it, ladies and gentlemen, that a few days ago, Premier of Pakistan, Mr. Imran Khan, actually initiated this poverty alleviation campaign where he said that, you know, units of chicken will be given to people, and they named it backyard poultry as well, where there were 5 chicken and 1 male chicken. And obviously every day, you know, chicken are actually supposed to lay eggs as well, and if they do not want to eat the eggs, they can sell them. They do not want to sell the eggs, they can obviously multiply the herd.
Yeah, that too. So this was after, you know, the completion of 100 days of the present government. And this was one idea which is not new to the world, of course. Some brilliant leaders, Bill Gates, of course, had also sort of, you know, propagated the idea earlier. And so the funny thing is, the population was sort of divided in opinion, but I stand with those who totally do support this idea. I'll tell you why. So early in the morning and before today as well, I was talking to people who actually sort of, you know, run on low-income households, and they believed that this was such a good idea in terms of, you know, consuming the eggs, consuming the chickens, selling the products. Even they said that even the feathers of the chickens can be sold. Even, you know, the paws, is the paws?
I think feet probably, I don't know.
Yeah, so they said everything is actually, you know, the yield, all of the income can actually be generated from this small unit, which includes probably 5 chickens in one.
Exactly. And I know that the introduction is very long, but we wanted to put in our share as well, where, ladies and gentlemen, over here within the rural areas of Pakistan, we see that, you know, that the growth of children is stunted. Because of the fact that they're malnourished and they do not get proper nutritional food. So I think that desi chicken and the eggs you get from desi chicken can actually help overcome that challenge too as well. But what is it? How is it going to work? You know, because there are different diseases out there, and then the herds are going to multiply. People won't have any space to probably keep all of those chicken. So where are we heading? These are the questions which we'll be asking, whether it is fruitful for all those people from the lower income segment or not, and can we be a part of it or not? You know, these are the few questions which we'll be asking. And for all those people who've actually got the chicken so far, or if they want the chicken, we've got this number and we're going to share it with you. It is 0800, and yeah, it's going to be on your television screen in a short while. What is it, if you don't mind? 08009211. 08009211 if you want
can
chicken.
book your unit, yes.
Yeah, if you want your unit, you know, only for 1,200 rupees.
Wow.
I think I'm going to get them and
I'm
eat all of them.
One.
Yeah. So without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, on my right hand side, we have been joined by somebody who's a veterinary officer at the Livestock Rawalpindi. He's none other than Dr. Muhammad Umar. Hello, assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Alhamdulillah.
Thank you very much for joining us. You know, I had so much energy saying assalamu alaikum, how are you? And, you know, in response I got alhamdulillah. Yeah, it's all right. Part of my job. Moving on, alongside Dr. Muhammad Umar, ladies and gentlemen, we have been joined by In Charge Media Cell Rawalpindi Livestock, where she's none other than Dr. Madeha Tariq. Hello, assalamu alaikum, welcome back.
Assalam, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for joining us. And last but not the least, he's been a regular on the show too as well. So, you know, it's hard for me to understand the writing, so I'll probably have to hold the paper. He's a focal person for Livestock Rawalpindi. He's none other than Dr. Javed Munir Shah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Thank you very much for joining us. So I think we'll get the conversation started with Dr. Madeha. Let us know and let our people know, what is this entire project all about?
Well, we are talking about backyard poultry, right?
Yeah.
According to Prime Minister's announcement, or as per his vision, if we talk about backyard poultry, it's not a new thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's been running from ages. Like, people have been rearing poultry at their homes, like, from ever since. Just because the egg is a complete whole diet. It has everything. If you eat one egg a day, you probably don't have to eat anything a whole day.
Omelette, whatever?
In any form, It has complete nutritional content for, like, it has energy, it has protein. You can spend your whole day on one egg. And people are rearing it because it's very easy task. If we talk about indigenous birds, or if we talk about other than like chicken, people are rearing that too, and people are eating those, like ducks and pigeons and ostrich. Well, ostrich is a difficult bird to rear at home because it's very big and it eats a lot. But if we talk about chicken or other indigenous birds, specifically about chicken, it's quite profitable. If we are rearing it at home for, like, fulfilling our home requirements, or if we are using it as a business. So that was behind that vision of Prime Minister, that if we are giving poultry units to the people, they can keep that unit. Like, in one unit we are giving 5 chickens and 5 female hens and 1 male hen to be exact.
Right, got it.
And they are at the age of giving eggs like about 1 month after we are giving it. Like they are 14 weeks of age. So after 1 month they start laying eggs.
And if you are getting this was like quick action right after the the idea was propagated, you guys started giving out the units to people immediately, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So is this only provincial right now? Are you only looking at Punjab, or are you guys expanding?
I'm from Livestock Punjab, so I can talk about Punjab. This project has been running in Punjab, and we are giving the units to Punjab, and in future we have a plan of 25 lakh units to be distributed in Punjab as well.
Okay.
But if we talk about whole Pakistan, probably it can get expanded as well.
Okay, okay, perfect.
And people, if they are keeping 1 unit, we are giving it on the price of 1200 per unit. That is almost 50% of the market price. If people are going to buy it from the market, it's like about costs are about like 2500 to 3000.
And how many units have been dispensed so far?
Well, if we talk about the first ever distribution after Prime Minister's announcement, there were 100 units all over the Pindi district, because we have a different like institutions on unit council level.
Approximately 600 hen, right?
Almost, yeah, exactly, exactly.
Okay, so this is a video from where you're actually dispensing the units to as well. So now people who are actually buying all of these chicken, do you think that they'll go back home and they'll probably invest into poultry, or they'll just Bismillah Rahman Rahim and eat it and that's it?
Well, if we talk about people, it's up to them because they are buying it. It's their property. If they want to cook it, it's also very cheap source of like food.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Because we are having 1200, we have 6 chickens in 1200. That is very low cost as compared to the market.
So somewhere, you know, within this part of the entire project, I think that the government is paying the subsidy, because you know that's not how much it costs.
Exactly.
Usually, so people who take back home and eat all of these chicken, I think that'll be a loss to the government and to themselves too as well.
Well, we are giving it just because we want to meet that protein deficiency requirement.
Okay.
Right, so you're sort of targeting malnutrition.
Yeah, exactly. We are targeting malnutrition. If people are eating it as such, there's no issue. But if they're keeping it and they're using their eggs and they're like getting another flock of chicken from them and they're expanding it and they're using it as a business, that would be the exact target.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, so coming to Dr. Umar over here, is there an eligibility criterion of who gets the units or who does not? Can I and Shahzad apply for that?
Yeah, yeah. All we need is 2400 for 2 units. Whoa.
Everybody can apply for these units, and first of all, our preference were for poor people.
Okay.
And we started it at rural poultry level. That is the unit council which are at rural background people.
Yeah,
they can
yes,
because our veterinary hospital and veterinary institution system is at rural unit council level.
Okay.
As you know, and that Islamabad and Rawalpindi, it is declared as the decathlon zone, and so we are preferring to distribute at a rural level.
I just have one request, and that is that I want you to speak a bit slowly so that people can even understand what we're trying to convey. And once you say it in English, say it in Urdu too as well, because I think this project is for people who are from rural areas.
That segment.
So go ahead.
So I will add a little bit more in this. There is no standard eligibility criteria that you can say some no educational background has been added in it. Everybody can apply for it, and the preference is given to rural people. And we take care of one thing, that people who apply over one CNIC, you mean to say over one ID card, they should be given 1 unit, and so more unit don't go to one family.
One same person, right.
So more people can benefit from this project.
Okay, but Dr. Umar, one more thing, there was a critique about this certain idea, and I sort of, do want an answer to that. When you're giving out such units to almost every person who asks for it, so now let's take into account these people and the vendors, the chicken vendors, the poultry farm guys, whatever. So I feel like the market is going to be saturated and the prices go low and everything. So what sort of productivity or what sort of income, is there any profit at all?
If you talk about profit, it is not related to profit related project. This project is totally for poverty alleviation of people and to meet the protein requirement of people. I will add some figures in continuation of my talk. According to FAO survey, Food and Agriculture Organization survey, per capita demand of protein per person is 75. 75 gram, and the half of it should be met from animal sources. I mean to say from egg, from chicken, from meat. And unfortunately, in Pakistan, only 20 gram per capita is consumption of protein. So we are lagging behind below 50%. You can say.
We need 75 and our intake
is 20 gram.
Oh wow!
Within the rural areas.
Within all over the Pakistan.
Okay.
It is a survey for all over the Pakistan. So the lag, which is from 75 and 20 grams, should be met by promoting the rural poultry.
Okay, that's great. Okay. But now what I want to know is that, for not everybody can actually be very careful with, keeping these kitchen at their backyard too as well. There are different problems, I don't know what those problems might be. There are different diseases. I'll definitely move on to Dr. Javed Saab over here. But now what I want to know is that, obviously, the birds are going to consume the feed, there are going to be so many other expenditures, you'll have to look after them. So how do you think all of the management will work, or what people should do to keep these chicken protected so that they do not fall sick and the cats do not eat their chicks too as well? Yeah, we want people to look after their chicks.
This is a very nice question.
Thank you.
People have very different sorts of confusion about this. They think that when they are going to have poultry birds in their house, they surely need to spend some time over them. Yeah. They surely need to buy some feed for them. They surely need to have a sophisticated cage for them to avoid from cats, as you told. But I will add one thing in this. The poultry birds are the most efficient and most best scavengers. Okay. Scavengers are those organisms which use our waste products. Okay. They feed on our kitchen waste. Okay. The things which you just throw out from your kitchen out, they just feed on them. And they just wander about in our backyards. They don't need any specific cage which should be built. As you think that we need to confine them, we don't need to confine them. Yeah. They just roam about in the streets and they just feed on their own way. Yeah. So we don't need to have any formal setup, or we don't need to give them a lot of care. And they feed on our kitchen waste, and they give a lot of benefits in the form of animal proteins to us.
Yeah. Okay, now Shiza, I've got a question for you. So
for me?
Yeah. So what happens is that whenever we go to our village, or whenever we were young and we used to go to our village, I'm sorry, but I think that I've probably been a part of such a hunt, and that was that we would actually probably look for a neighbor's or somebody else's chicken roaming around in the street, pick it up, go slaughter it, eat it. I don't know. I'm sorry for that. But this is something which happened, and we definitely need protection for that. Have you ever done it that probably aaj murgi chori karke khate?
No, and I don't think anyone does that. I doubt. But on a lighter note, of course, I'm pretty sure people like to chase. I've seen kids chasing chickens in the streets, but I've never seen them pick it out.
That's why they're chasing. Okay, but now what I wanted to ask was, because I've calculated it.
Okay.
So, after 1 month, the chickens will be laying egg. Okay, so 1 month means, so if the person who actually purchased that chicken, if he decides to probably multiply, he'll let the chicken sit on the egg. 21 days later, 4 more new chicks, and I think that, 4 more new chicks are going to be chicken again in like 17 or 18 weeks, if that's the time, and if we feed them on our whatever leftovers. Yeah. Now, if they start to multiply, I think in a year's time, we'll probably have more than like 50, 60 chicken, and it will be very difficult to keep it in our backyards then.
But keep eating.
So then, if we keep eating, then we cannot multiply, so we'll probably have to have a business plan. So what would you recommend to people, in a situation where their herd grows, what do you think that they need to do?
Okay, so I'll tell you, if I was one of those people, this is one of my ideas, but of course you can counter that. Yeah. So I'll make like all the chicken lay a lot of eggs, and then keep selling the chickens, and keep one of the chicken to sit on all the eggs on behalf of them, and then probably keep is that
that's one of the best idea behind that project. So that is the main
one chicken can sit on how many eggs though?
Almost 15 to 20.
15 to 20?
Yeah, exactly. Because they're very small size, and not all of them get like you can't get all of the chicks out of all the eggs you have kept under them. And we have also an idea to check from which egg you're going to get the chick.
How do we do that?
Well, if you're keeping, and that is what we are doing, we are teaching people in the villages that you can get benefit, and you can check the eggs. When you keep them under the hen, you can check every egg after 7 to 8 days. Okay. Under only a mobile torch light, and in a dark room, if you keep the egg, if you keep the light right close to the egg, you can check if the chick is developing inside the egg or not. If it's empty, if the chick is not developing, light will pass through and you can see the whole orange, like orange-yellow egg.
Right.
Okay.
And if the chick is developing, that would be more darker areas inside the egg. The eggs having those darker areas, you can put them
No, but what
again.
I've heard is that if you touch the egg once, you know, the chicken's like, get out. You know, so the chicken does not accept the egg back. Does that happen?
No, that doesn't happen usually. And if you're checking all the eggs and you are getting like 7 to 8 eggs having chicks developing in it, you can put that back and you can use
the rest
other
you can
eggs.
make a cake out of.
You can eat them because after 7 to 8 eggs, 7 to 8 days, the eggs don't get destroyed. You can eat them.
Okay.
But if we keep them for like whole 21 days and if you like want to eat them, they're not eatable.
Okay, perfect. But now finally moving on to Dr. Javed over here. I want you
Hello.
to tell
Hi. How are you?
tell each and every person who you know sorts of wants to buy this unit how to make sure that the chickens are not infected. First of all, how are you guys making sure that you're not giving out infected products? And then I also read that you are giving out some injections for the well-being of the products of chickens. Tell us everything.
And
about
where are you
that.
getting so many of desi chicken from as well? I mean, this is one question I had in my head.
Accountability.
I can tell you, you are taking our chick very light. As I think, yeah. This has been made after so many crosses of different breeds.
Oh, wow.
We are not talking about the old chick which has given 80, 90, 70 eggs a year and which was very fat and cannot run from the cat and the dogs and everything and cannot fly and can live only in the controlled environment or room.
Okay.
This chick or this hen has been made after so many crosses, after so many research, which is RIR or we talk about Fumi. These are two breeds which we are distributing to the farmers and to the citizens.
RIR and Fumi.
Yeah,
And
these
they're
are two
both
breeds.
desi
Yeah,
chicken,
these are
not
two
broilers.
varieties of the chicken which we have made for our environment and our circumstances.
Okay.
So this is very easy to rear. As we are a rural man or we are a common citizen, we can rear it.
Okay.
So it has been sorted out that what are the diseases which are very common in our country, and this variety has been made resistant against those common diseases.
Wow.
The most important disease which we know is Andy or Rani Khet in Urdu. Every farmer knows it, every citizen knows it. Rani Khet is more important and very common disease of the birds and the poultry.
So you've taken care of that before?
Yeah,
then? Okay.
yeah, we are. I am telling it. Okay. It has been already vaccinated against Andy or Rani Khet, and our mobile units, mobile veterinary dispensaries are there. Our helpline 080009211 are always open for you. Every citizen is can contact us and can get help from us. Our centers at union councils are present. Our VAs are vaccinating the birds throughout the campaigns. We run campaigns against many diseases, and the Rani Khet or Andy is the most important disease which we take care of the disease, and this is more dangerous disease of the birds.
Okay, but God forbid, you know, for somebody, you know, who actually purchased the unit for the very first time in their life, they might not be aware of, you know, how the hen or the chicken might probably behave if he or she is sick. So how do you think that people are going to get to know? Can you tell them about a few symptoms that the chicken is not doing right if this is something which happens? Please talk to the people.
Okay, if we talk about the symptoms of the disease, I'll only tell them about two diseases, the chicken pox and the Rani Khet or Andy. The Andy is a disease which can cause 3 types of systems can be damaged by this disease. If the disease is on the digestive system, the poultry can get diarrhea, and greenish diarrhea is the most important sign of this disease. If the digestive system is involved. If the respiratory system is involved, you know the most common is the coughing, the sneezing, and these are the gasping.
Chickens cough?
But how do they cough?
Yeah, they can open their mouth and they can gasp and cough and sneeze even.
Wow.
Yeah. And if the disease...
Can we just, you know, for a second, just tell them how do they sneeze? I mean, chicken sneezing, this is something which I've never heard.
You can see from any of the social media. Yeah.
Something like that.
Okay. And if this respiratory system is involved, then sneezing, coughing and gasping are the most common signs. And if another system is involved, which is nervous system, then there may be paralysis of the hind quarter of the legs, of the wings. The paralysis of the wings is very common, or the legs, or a single leg. So these are the most common signs of the disease of Rani Khet. And chicken pox, the pox will be very dominant on the face if it gets chicken pox.
Okay, very nice. Now we've got somebody on the phone with us, and she needs to ask you a few questions. So are you guys prepared?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Madhiya Shahzad, for joining us early in the morning. How are you? Assalamu alaikum.
Hi, wa alaikum assalam. Good morning, Shahzad and Shiza. You both are looking really good, and it's good to see you in the morning. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So, you know, our guests are at your, what do we say? Disposal. Yeah, let's do it. So, shoot. Come on.
I actually want to ask them that I read in the newspaper yesterday about that these chicken are available and at 1,200 rupees, I believe. And can you just inform me that how can we get them, and is there any delivery service to homes, and how can we keep them at home? Like these kind of things. I had some queries in my mind, so I just wanted to ask you.
Well, so she just wants to ask about, you know, can we keep them at home, or, you know, or things like these. Normally, you know, what do we do?
Well, we have our district office in Shamsabad, Murray Road. If she lives in Pindi or Islamabad, she can go there and she can get the form. Or she can download it as well from our website.
So we have to fill in a form to get the unit?
Yes, you have to fill in the form, you have to pre-book the unit, and then you have to pay when you're getting the unit. You don't have to pay like first.
And the helpline number is on your television screens, ladies and gentlemen, so please make sure that you fill in the form in the right time. And for how long is this campaign going to go on? Because, you know, people over here procrastinate over in Pakistan, so they might not even get a chance to fill in the form. So for how long can we do that?
We have a plan of almost 3 years.
Okay.
And we have more than 25 lakh units.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. We have a plan to distribute.
I'm going to buy a few for myself. I'm going to I'm going to have yakhni. But Dr. Madhia, do you want to ask anything else?
Is it better than normal chicken? Like, what's the difference between a normal chicken and the chicken that they are offering? I mean, I'm not clear about it.
In between nutritional facts. Thank you very much, Dr. Madhia, for being with us. It was lovely talking to you.
Yes. Okay, so address that.
Okay.
Let's compare the nutritional facts.
If she's saying normal to the broiler,
if
she's like broiler chicken.
Yes.
If we talk about nutritional facts, it's better because it's feeding on like all natural things.
Okay.
Like backyard, if you are keeping it backyard, it's feeding on all natural things like remainings of all the feed we are eating. It's feeding on that. And other than that, it's also vaccinated and it's free from all the diseases. But if you talk about broiler chicken, it's eating like many such things which we think that might not help us, or we might get like harmful some effect from it.
Okay.
But if you talk about this desi chicken, it is beneficial because it's eating all natural.
Okay, perfect. So one more thing, when I was reading about all of this, program, there was one thing that whoever buys the unit, they're also given injections as to sort of promote the growth of the chickens. That's what I read. Is it true? If yes, how so? And isn't that going to be the same as broilers?
This is something which we'll definitely want the answer, but we're going to head out for a short break. So, ladies and gentlemen, for everybody who's out there, so when you guys are going to come back, Shiza's question where she's like that, there are people who are actually saying that we're going to inject them with growth hormones or something of that sort. If that's something, do you think that it's going to have an impact on the health of the chicken? And if it does, it'll have an impact on our health too as well.
Of course.
This is the question, important one. Stay tuned. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for everybody who just got tuned into PTV World. You're watching World this morning alongside Shahzad Khan and Shiza Hashmi. And before we entered the break phase of the show, there was this question which was a very important one by Shiza. So Shiza, go ahead, please.
So yes, so I was reading something about this. I'm not sure if this is true or not. You can tell us that when you're providing a unit to some person, you're also giving out injections as to sort of assist the growth of the chicken. Is it true? And if so, how is it different than broilers then? Any one of you?
The units which we are we have been providing to the people, they are not injected with any growth hormones or such things or medicine. They are just vaccinated against the disease. I already told you the Newcastle disease and other disease which are very important in the layers. You know, layers are the hens which lay eggs. So broilers are totally different from the layers. This is different breed. Broilers are different.
So do we have broilers?
No. we are providing, layers can be a broiler, but a broiler cannot be a layer. So this is very simple.
Layer can be a broiler, but a broiler cannot be a layer.
Yeah, you can.
Well, you can eat the layer egg, but you cannot get eggs from the broiler one.
So you're saying there's no such sort of
the growth hormones, we are not concerned with the growth of the chicken which we are providing. We are concerned with the eggs which we are getting. Yeah, and the desi chicken which is very costly in the market, which is having a demand in the market. So if you are talking about so many eggs and so many chickens, so you can get your chicken in your yard for yourself, and you can sell all the other chickens which are the market is having so much demand. So it is very costly there. So
okay, now I've got a few technical questions. That is that, you know, for how long can actually a hen lay eggs? Okay, this is one thing that, you know, what is the lifespan of a hen for laying egg, and after that you should probably opt for selling the chicken. And number two, is the government going to go back to them and buy the eggs from them for all of those people, or they'll actually have to sell it in the open market?
A hen can lay eggs up till 1 year for a maximum production of her. With the egg the hen which we are providing to the people, it can lay up to 240 to 50 eggs a year. The old hen used to lay 80-70 eggs a year. So this is so much different from that hen. And there is
I think these chicken which you are providing are probably taken off on weekends, right?
Yeah.
And 260.
And the other thing is, if after a year the egg production is being stopped by the egg, then you can sell it and you can eat it for the meat and other other utilizations. So this is not difficult to rear.
But after a year, you know, it's probably better to sell the chicken.
Yeah,
you know?
You can eat it.
Or to eat it. But it all depends on the diet you're giving it. If it's all feeding on all the waste of the kitchen, it might get stop laying eggs after 1 year, or the egg production may get reduced. But if you are keeping the calcium in her diet, you have to put a certain effort to get more eggs out of it. So if you are fulfilling the calcium requirement, it can lay eggs up to 2 years as well.
Okay, great. But Dr. Madhya, you know, you mentioned that even before Prime Minister sort of announced it, you guys were on it, this initiative,
Backyard poultry.
So what is the response that you're getting, and especially from that segment of the society that's targeted to sort of become a part of this initiative? What sort of responses have you been getting?
Well, the response is very positive. If we talk about yesterday's distribution, we had only 100 units to get distributed, but people were about 400-500 people gathered, because and we had more than 1,000 forms already submitted. But obviously chickens take time to grow up, and we have our farms inside.
So there's pre-bookings going on.
Yeah, exactly. The pre-booking is going on, and people want it just because it's quite very handy sort of business.
And it's very healthy too as well.
Exactly, and you're spending very little on it, and you're getting the maximum benefit. Because if we talk about the cost of the chicken or the chicken, this desi egg out in villages or even in cities, because in cities if you want a desi egg, you can't get anywhere.
Now this is where I was heading. Now, Dr. Mohammed, my question from you is, first of all, if you know somebody is selling the eggs, how much they should be selling the egg to somebody who's actually the final user or the one who is going to consume it, number one. And number two is, are we going to keep a check on the transparency or the authenticity, whether it's a desi egg or not? Because I've seen people painting those eggs to look like the desi egg as well. So how do we do that?
So first I will answer your first question, that if anybody think that the eggs are more than his consumption, so he can sell it in nearby shop.
But for how much can we sell one egg?
If you talk about
the final user,
if you talk about the price, rupees 10 per egg is for egg of layer, and rupees 13 to 14 is for desi egg.
Okay.
It's the market survey which conducted by me.
Okay.
13 for desi egg and rupees 10 for layer egg.
Okay.
So this egg is at a premium rate than the layer egg, so it can be sold at a better price.
Okay.
And then coming at your second question, so I think
how do we check whether the desi egg is like proper real or not?
It's a very litmus test, you can say. When you break the egg, the texture of an egg of layer and the texture of a desi egg is very different. The color of yolk and is a bit darker in case of desi egg, and the color of yolk in case of layer egg is a bit lighter.
Okay, that's great. So I think this is how we authenticate, ladies and gentlemen. This is for the very first time that I got to know. But there's one more thing which I need to tell you. Okay. And I think that women go through this every day as well. For example, when we tell our mothers to probably boil an egg, and half of the time, because we're in a hurry, so the egg comes onto the plate and we start cracking it and we crack open, or the egg is still not boiled. So ladies and gentlemen, all you have to do is to check whether the egg is boiled or not. You just have to put it in a glass of water. If it floats, it's boiled. If it does not, it goes down, it sinks. So, it is such a good life hack. I think everybody can use that. Yeah, but now, since we are moving towards the end of the show, and I think we have pretty much discussed everything, I once again will come back to the question where I said that, once the number of the chickens going to grow, what kind of solution do we have for people? Where do you think that they will move? For example, from 5 chicken in time of year, we moved on to 100 chicken. So I think it will be very, it won't be labeled as backyard poultry then. So what do we do then? Any quick solutions?
As for, I think you have missed one thing which was very important. We are giving 5 females and 1 male hen. So the people who are at home, who are rearing eggs, who are rearing chicken themselves, please do remember that there should be a male in the females so that their eggs can be fertilized.
That's something which I thought was understood.
No. Many of the people question us, they ask us, the common citizen, that we are having our hen at our home and they laid eggs, but there are no chicks from those eggs.
There was no murga.
Yeah, there was no male. So you need a male for 10 females at least to fertilize your eggs and
what a life.
To get the production. To get the production. And the other thing is, if you want to sell the eggs, this is cash crop. Daily you can, if you are having 20 eggs daily, you can take 2-3 eggs at your home and you can sell a dozen or a half a dozen
eggs. They'll give you like probably 150 and 200 rupees a day. I think that's great.
And the other, the most important thing is that you do not have to go to the market. Even the people come to your home and they can themselves get the eggs from your home at the spot.
Okay, perfect. But on a lighter note though, so you have already mentioned that you sort of take care of all the chickens that you're giving out, they're vaccinated and everything. So what if a person comes to you, okay, aapne hame ye piece diya tha, ye theek nahi hai, mujhe change karke dein. So what about that? Is that going to happen?
If the chick is diseased or something else, we are already giving it on subsidy. So at the spot, if the chick is diseased or somewhat paralyzed or any other fractured or whatever you are having in your mind, say at the spot, after you get that chick to your home,
you can't change.
Come for the treatment. Please come for the treatment. We are here, our doctors are here, our vaccinators are here. And another thing which I can add, as for fractures are concerned and the parasites and the the dehydration of the bird is concerned, please provide a dust bath to the chicks. You provide a tub with sand in it, and the chicks will go and they can take a bath. They can get rid of the parasites and the mites and ticks, and they can make themselves the sand adheres to the skin of the chick, and it provides the chick a good hydration status, and dehydration stops.
So you can make a sand bath in your houses?
A tub and a sand,
Just a few quick tips for everybody who are actually new to this field of business, and that is, since it's winters too as well, they keep water outside for the chicken, it gets cold. Do you think that with all of these negligences, the chicken can or the hen can actually fall sick as well? And then what do we have to do about it?
Very important is the light if egg production is concerned. So this is very important. I got another point from your discussion. Yes, they can live in winter and the winter cannot compromise their health. But the most important is in winter the eggs do not lay eggs.
Yeah.
The reason is that the light is very less. There is a direct, relation of light with the egg production. You have to provide 12 hours or 14 hours light to the hen to get eggs.
Okay.
Yeah, the system of the egg laying is totally, totally connected with the eye receptors and the lights.
Okay.
So if there is no sun, there is no egg. Remember that. So you have to get the chicks out when there is a good sun, yeah, and you have to, you have to provide artificial light or a 100-volt or 200-volt bulb inside the, house of the chicken.
So that can work?
Yeah.
But that's going to cost us electricity then.
No, this is not so much costly,
Or do you think energy savers will work?
Yeah, they can work.
Okay. Dr. Madhya says no.
Well, I believe yellow light works.
Okay.
That 100-volt yellow light is enough. And if you're like talking about 16 hours light for an egg to be laid, most of it can be like they can get it from the sun. And you don't have to light the bulb for like 16 hours. You have to light it for 2-3 hours and you can complete that.
Yeah, you need the light for production, not for the development of the egg.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
We need for that production because the brain gets message of producing the egg just because for the
Okay,
light.
so now, I think we've pretty much covered the entire concept and the initiative, and I think that, it is definitely plausible too as well, ladies and gentlemen, and it will help a lot of people. Well, one last thing before we wrap it up, and that is that when I was a kid, there was this fight over the leg piece as well, whenever somebody used to cook the chicken. So I just want to know whether you fought over a leg piece ever in life or not, from all of you. What about you?
Starting with me.
Yeah.
I hate it. Why would you want so thoda sa meat and, with it, I'd rather go for breast.
Okay. What about you?
It usually happens in family, as you know. It's a trend in our Pakistani family.
Yeah.
Yes, I also.
What about you, Dr. Madhya?
I always had teeth problems, so I I also prefer eating leg piece. It's very soft and tender.
Yeah.
Leg piece very soft.
It's great. What about you?
Yes, I was always looking for the leg piece. It was very dominant and very easy to grip.
I think Taiwan's great too.
Easy to eat, easy to grip.
Yeah.
So I was
good for babies, I
always fighting for
But thank you very much for joining us. It was lovely, and I think that the entire show actually turned out to be very fruitful.
Yes.
And for all those people who are actually blindfolded by the concepts of some such sort of people who actually do not want Pakistan to develop, please, I'm assuring you that all of them are false after the hour's conversation. Please make sure that you apply and you start your own business from today onwards.
Yes, it's only going to benefit you and your family, of course. And I mean, imagine on daily basis or every 3 other days, you're going out to buy eggs and everything. You can have your own production at your own home. So the amount of money that you're saving, that's brilliant, right?
Yeah.
So towards the end, if there's anything you need to add to our conversation, write to us on our Facebook page.
It is with the name of World This Morning.
On Twitter.
World This Morning without a G.
Daily Motion YouTube.
World This Morning, World This Morning.
And the repeat is going to be
5 past 11 p.m. tonight.
So till the next time,
One,
take
two,
care.
three. Good morning.
without us.
Wow, wow. Thank you for saying that. So ladies and gentlemen, it was such a healthy discussion. I'm pretty sure all of you who've watched have learned something, taken away something from this. If you missed, you can write to us on our Facebook page, which is with the name of World This Morning, on Twitter, World This Morning without a G, on Dailymotion and YouTube, World This Morning, and the repeat is going to be at 11:05 in the night. So till then, ladies and gentlemen, take care and be cautious of the surroundings and observe the IDPD with us on 3rd of December with the full zeal and enthusiasm that we're doing today with BTV World. Good morning.